New Earth Collective. Timestamps are in the description box below. This is your astrology report. Stay tuned for our eclipse tarot reading. Welcome to the Virgo Solar Eclipse portal, September 21st. We've got a new moon reset at 29 degrees Virgo, which is the very last degrees of this sign. So this isn't just another eclipse, it's graduation energy. Virgo, the archetype of wholeness, healing, and embodied practice, is handing us a final exam before we cross the cosmic stage and walk into the Libra halls of relationship balance and collective weaving. This year, we've already felt Virgo pulse with the lunar eclipse earlier this month at 1 degree Virgo, a cosmic drumbeat at the start of the sign. And now we get the bookends, the ends, or 29 degrees Virgo. The message is clear. Everything from body health to daily habits to our inner critic has been under review. We're being asked what patterns are complete, what cosmic lessons can finally be digested and released. This eclipse energy will ripple out for the next 6 months, carrying us into March 2026. And remember, the Virgo eclipse story runs until 2027, when the nodes shift and Virgo hands the torch off for decades. So the work we do now isn't just about 1 week. It's about maturing into a healed, integrated version of ourselves that can carry forward with clarity, sovereignty, and love. Virgo is earthly magic, the alchemy of patterns and habits. At 29 degrees, it's saying, cut the cords, clean up the clutter, and simplify so you can stand tall in your next evolution. Virgo, this eclipse is at 29 degrees in your sign. September's lunar eclipse at 1 degree Virgo was the opening drumbeat, asking, who are you now? This solar eclipse is the finale. Time to shed old identities. Over the next 6 months, step into your next self, confident, whole, and radiant. By 2027, the Virgo eclipse era ends, and so does your apprenticeship. You'll be standing as master healer, teacher, and guide. All right. Well, hello there, Virgos. This solar eclipse is in your first house, and unless you were born right on the cusp of Leo and Virgo, this solar eclipse will fall in your first house. So this solar eclipse is a lot about transformation. And so the shadow aspect card that we have for your reading here is resilience, which is a beautiful card to get. It says what we've learned and what we are learning, because this eclipse season is not complete for until 2027. In 2027, we'll have another eclipse in your sign, Virgo. So what we're working on right now and through these eclipse seasons and the energy for the next 6 months is learning how to remain centered through harmony and through chaos. So it's really about learning to balance those energies, balance and ground ourselves here, Virgos. Sorry, I'm just finding a more comfortable position. I'm going to be reading for a couple of hours. Okay, so I have a new deck that I'm pulling from. These are for our Oracle and Intentions. It says, I trust that my powerful intentions combined with my faith are enough to allow my vision to become a reality. When I truly surrender my desires to the universe, a mighty force of faith can set in. And that's interesting. I had this card, as you guys who watch the channel know, I am a Virgo ascendant, and this solar eclipse is right on my ascendant node. I pulled this card last night when doing a reading for myself. So we're really being asked to move into a state of faith, and it seems like faith is really what is being tested at during this time. So our ability to remain faithful to our manifestation process, both when we are seeing outcomes, so in times of when things are going easy and well, as well as in times of chaos. So I've set the reading up. We're going to use these cards here as thoughts, emotions, and general energies here to work with for the eclipse. So the first card that we have is the Five of Pentacles. As we know, the Five of Pentacles is often a card of being left out. So you can see in this card, like, the sun is shining through this door here. However, the child in the photo here is purposely, well, not purposely, is sort of tucked off here away in the darkness. So I think what we're really being asked to look at here is when things aren't going our way, how we come into a place and a position of surrender. So this card, sort of this falls right in line here with the surrender aspect of the card. And so we're looking at, with the Five of Pentacles, how we surrender. And I think that we're going to come up with some other cards here. We've got the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords is a card of emotional conflict, intellectual conflict. You know, we've got 2 5s so far here. 5s are a difficult number to work with. You know, you get stability with the 4, and then with the 5, we're tested. And the test of the 5 is about being able to establish order and maintain that structure with the new level of expansion and awareness from 4 to 5. And then we've got the 3 of Swords here, which is a lot about moving through heartbreak and pain. Okay. Let's go on and clarify these cards here for Virgo. With the 5 of Pentacles, so we've got a story here about physically and structurally how we move through challenges and expansion, and we have our thoughts about that with the 5 of Swords and the 3 of Swords here. With the 5 of Pentacles, what can we clarify about the 5 of Pentacles for Virgo for the eclipse season? Are we able to clarify the 5 of Swords, 3 of Swords energy? Okay, we've got the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, and these two wanted to come out. Okay. Okay, and let's see if we can grab a clarifier here for the 5 of Pentacles. Okay. All right, so what we're working with right now, Virgos, is it is a challenging aspect because we've got the 10 of Wands here as a clarifier. Now, the 10 of Wands card would typically be this path here up to the moon, which is to our subconscious and our sort of unconscious desires. But with the card being in reverse, it says, like, and Wands are about transformational energy. And a 10 is saying that, oh, this is actually the 9. Interesting. I thought it was the 10. Okay. The 10 of Wands is completion, and I'm going to read this as sort of a bridge, almost like we're moving backwards, Virgos, like we're going through a period of transition to review. The 9 of Wands is a card of being guarded, and I love how this program makes. I wonder if it makes other visuals as well. It loves the thumbs up. Okay, so as we move through the energy of the Wands, the 9 of Wands is guarded, but they are willing to take it to the end destination, right? You've got a wounded warrior with the 9 of Wands. And then as we move into the 10 of Wands, the energy changes, because we once were the wounded warrior and we had so much to do, so much to overcome before we were at the completion of our journey. And when we reach the 10 of Pentacles, we realize that there's still a bit of time to go. Like, we aren't actually at the completion of our journey yet. However, we're very much on our way, and we can see the end. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So with the 10 of Wands in reverse, what we're working with over the next 6 months here is the energy of not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And that's why it says that I trust that my powerful intentions combined with my faith are enough to allow my vision to become a reality. It's about learning to set those powerful intentions. And we'll talk about intentions here in a minute, because you know, the card that this really relates to is the one here of saying, when I truly surrender my dreams, my desires to the universe, a mighty force of faith can set in. And so the challenge that we're being asked to overcome is, even when we can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, to know that we're moving in the right direction, and we're moving on our path. So what we see down here with the 3 of Swords and with the 4 of Cups in reverse and the Page of Cups is that there has been some level of not being willing or able to take a look at a heartbreaking situation. And that has forced this Queen of Pentacles in reverse situation, which to me, I believe that this is with the 5 of Swords here and the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, is about not being able to, or haven't had the chance to undergo a period of moving on from some level of heartbreak. Because, so, you know, the Queen of Wands is the most stable feminine energy in the deck, and grounded. And with her in reverse here next to these crows that are flying, what I'm sensing is that there's been an inability to logically process through something, and there is some level of blockage here of being able to investigate this heartbreak. Let's take a look at what the emotional situation connected to this is. I might throw that on the ground. All right. In the emotions, we've got the 4 of Swords in reverse and the Queen of Swords for our emotional connection to this situation. So this is a very Swords dominated reading for Virgo, which tells me that a lot about what we're working through over the next 6 months is this connection between our thoughts and our identity, with the eclipse being in the first house. So with the Four of Swords in reverse, Four of Swords is a chance of healing. We see here that this one person is on the bed and it's like a night maid or a nurse coming to their side. The Four of Swords can be a card of the dark night of the soul, but in this case, what I'm seeing here is, you know, this is our thoughts about our healing and our thoughts about our understanding. And with the Four of Swords in reverse, what I'm seeing is that there hasn't been an opportunity for this healing to take place. And it's because there's something missing here with the Queen of Swords. And that is the repetition of mental patterns. So the Queen of Swords is making decisions and getting her information from a place of unrest and even an unhealed space as well. What are the thoughts that are contributing to? We have got the Seven of Pentacles in reverse and the Eight of Wands in reverse. So the Eight of Wands is a card of communication. It can mean fast communication. It can mean messaging. It can just mean things moving very quickly. With this Seven of Pentacles in reverse, Seven of Pentacles is we reap what we sow sort of card. And when the Seven of Pentacles is in the upright, it means that we've had an opportunity to take a look at what we have grounded in and whether or not we like the way that we are growing in a certain direction. So with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse and the Eight of Wands in reverse, it says to me that our thoughts on this situation is that we haven't been able to create a situation for there to be an opportunity for review. So the Eight of Wands would mean quickly. So in reverse, it means that things are taking a very, very long time to review the situation. So the Oracle cards that I've picked for the next 6 months is, first I reach for joy and all else follows. And the most powerful law in the universe. Okay, I'm going to read these cards in a minute, but I believe we're talking about the law of attraction here. And so let's see if there's any clarifiers that want to come out for this, how our Virgos can use this eclipse time to work with the energies here of, you know, reviewing the way that they hold this sword energy, this the reaching the clarity and the insight that we need. We've got the Fool in reverse, the Tower in reverse, the Eight of Cups in reverse, and the and the Six of Cups in reverse. So let's take a look and flip these around and see what they are saying to us. So it says that, you know, the potential for a new beginning was potentially destroyed by this walking away situation. From some level of nostalgia or sweet memories and sweet moments. I'm going to grab a couple more clarifiers, and then I'll let you know what I'm thinking of this situation. See what we can pull for the Seven of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands in reverse. How can Virgos best use or alter this energy to create more resilience in their lives? Ooh, I think we might be getting a bit of rain. Okay. So we've got some cards that have come out here in the challenge position. They've come out as crossing. And we have the Eight of Cups as a challenge. We have death as a challenge. And we have the Seven of Pentacles again as a challenge. So with the Eight of Cups and the Death here, the Eight of Cups is really about, Chris Rex says, the Eight of Cups is when you've lost your taste for wine, but you're still sad about having to move on and leave that. Death is the complete ending of a cycle and the transformation here. And it says to me that there's been no transformation. And I'm going to be honest here, Virgo, I don't actually feel very good about the outcome here of this situation. Like, it looks like to me like there may not ever be an opportunity to review this situation. And Virgo, what can Virgos do here to help themselves move on and grow from the challenge? What can Virgos do to grow from this challenging? We've got the Sun. So look, Virgo, there is an opportunity for you to grow and to heal and evolve from this situation, but it's going to require you to focus in on yourself and to become potentially even what might others see as becoming a bit selfish, because Virgo needs to embrace what it is that makes Virgo shine and glow. And grab another
card here for, actually, these aren't the ones I want to use. What other lessons does Virgo need to embrace as part of the transition here with these eclipse energies? Just one card. Okay. So we have the card here, Secrets, and it says the restless push for freedom. So my Virgos, I do think that this is going to be this is going to be a very, very challenging time for you. It is all about becoming and externalizing who we are as a person, as well as from this Secrets card, this flower is blooming, and it's protected in this golden bubble of light. This is us being able to manage and control our own energies, being connected to the sun here, and honoring and acknowledging ourselves as spiritual beings, and having a spiritual experience. So the new beginning requires a radical change, and that radical change is asking us to manage what these nostalgic feelings are, manage what the childhood dreams that we have, the nurturing who we are as a child, our inner self, to do this inner self healing. And it's requiring us to really walk away from something here, to realize what it is that we do no longer have a taste for, and to be ready and willing to leave that. And then as we do that, we are able then to really end the cycle and to assess where we are here with the Seven of Pentacles. So once we're able to end that cycle, then we get the opportunity here with the Seven of Pentacles as the challenge to the Seven of Pentacles reversed, to really, and we're being encouraged here to write as well with the Seven of Wands. So I suggest that Virgos take a look online for sort of activity workbooks that they can use for documenting and working through challenges. So what I'm going to do for Virgos is I am going to put the exercises from the guidebook for number 44 and for number 12 down in the comment section below. Please stay tuned, and I will be giving updates in 6 weeks' time. Thank you, Virgo.
Libra, your 12th house of spirit and surrender is activated by this eclipse. September's lunar eclipse revealed unconscious fears or hidden patterns. Now the solar eclipse offers release, rest, dream, heal. Over the next 6 months, your spiritual practices will deepen, and by 2027, you'll have let go of karmic baggage that once weighed so heavy.
Hello, Virgos. So, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that this eclipse is at 0 degrees. It's on my ascendant at 28.5 degrees of Virgo. So this Libra reading applies to my first house. And if you are Libra, I'm assuming you are reading for your first house as well. So the first house is all about self and how we present ourselves to the world. The card that we have, the shadow card, is fulfillment, and it says striking gold in every experience. Amazing. So what our Libra first houses are looking for in this eclipse season, which lasts until 2027, is for how we search for and find fulfillment in our day-to-day lives. We have appreciation. It dissolves all blocks to the presence of my super attractor power. All right, we're talking about gratitude here and appreciation for what it is that we have. And it says, when I'm connected to spirit, I feel a sense of certainty, magnitude, and ease that I've never known before. So this is a fantastic energy for Libras to be moving into here. So what we have for the eclipse energies, the Six of Wands, the World, oh my goodness, and the Tower. All right. So look for a big change to be happening here, Libra. We've got the Tower card, which is this card of like surprise and tearing down of old structures that are no longer working. But with the Six of Wands and the World card here, I couldn't think of a more fantastic energy. The World card is completion, but it also means completion of a cycle of no fulfillment or a cycle of lack. And I see that here with this Seven of Wands being the energy of transformation that we're bringing in. This is a really good reading, Libra. Let's see your thoughts, feelings, and emotions on. So we have the High Priest in reverse and the Four of Wands in reverse. So what this is saying to me is like, emotionally, there's some level of distrust with established order, or we're seeing the places where established order is no longer providing the stability. So established ways of being and thought. This really is about our emotional state. So it can say things like, my emotions are no longer tempered by what my priest thinks, by what my parents think, by what the government thinks. And the reason why is because we are having different thoughts about the situation than what the established order has taught us. So those thoughts that we are having is the Five of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles in reverse. So the Six of Pentacles is about how we give and take and about how we generate those feelings of like gratitude within us. But it's not just gratitude, it's more about like belonging, right? The Six of Cups can talk about nostalgic feelings from the past and those like childhood feelings. So the thoughts that we have about this situation is just that the established orders have left something unbuilt here with the Five of Pentacles in reverse. And So feeling like we're not getting what we want from established ways of thinking, we're breaking out and moving in a way that well, we're creating the thought patterns and life philosophies that we need in order to be fulfilled in and of ourselves. Okay, so we've got the Six of Cups here. So we're clarifying now this High Priest and the Four of Wands, which came up, they both came up in reverse. And we've got the Six of Cups, which is, you know, this is about grounding energy, but, you know, it's also a bit about family. And that's not a reading that I normally get off of this card. But what I'm feeling here is like the people that we surround ourselves and who we call our family create those roots that nourish us, and that is the tree that we become. And the crossing energy here was the Star. So, you know, I feel like I'm seeing a lot of similarities here reflected with this fulfillment card and the Star card, you know, just with the star, the guiding light star there at the top of each card. And so what it's telling me is that, yeah, just in order to be this star and in order to have this fulfillment, that these old ways of doing things, an established way of doing things, are crumbling. And it does not seem like we're having much challenge with that, Libra. It's just seems like it's a bit of a process here. We might feel like, so for our future looking cards, we have, I'm standing at the leading edge of thought, and why are they not getting what they asked for? So let's read this why they are they not getting what they ask for question first. It says, if people are not receiving what they're asking for, it can only be that the person holding the desire are out of alignment with their own requests. There's no shortage, there is no lack, there's no competition for resources. There's only the allowing or the disallowing of that which one is asking for. So with this Five of Pentacles here and, you know, this disallowing card, let's dig in a little bit deeper to those energies and take a look at what the challenge is and how our Libras can work through this challenge over the next 6 months during the eclipse season. So anything else Libras need to know to work through the current energies? I've had a couple here. All right, let's pull these guys. Okay. So the first one we have is the Five of Wands. So the Five of Wands is a card of conflict, but it's about conflicting intentions, right? Fire is our diaphragm. It is our navel chakra energy. So looking at areas where we have conflict about what it is that we are looking to manifest, and our steadfastness in letting and allowing that to develop and to grow. So the Knight of Pentacles card, the Knight of Pentacles has everything that he needs here, but he needs to actually put his pentacle in the ground and allow it to grow. And so what we see here is a little bit of the cart before the horse energy. If these had come out in order, we would have the Knight before the Queen. the Queen has come out before the Knight. So putting the cart before the horse, and then feeling a little bit conflicted about what it is that we are manifesting. But we know that we're standing at the leading edge of thought. And we know that we have the ability within us to create these feelings that we need, those nostalgic, innocent, spiritual feelings in order to drive our dreams forward. It says, just as all of your expectations from the time of your birth into your physical body and until now have culminated into who you are now, all that has ever been experienced by the all that is has culminated into all that is now being experienced in the physical life experience on planet Earth. So, what it's saying to me is, I've sometimes talked on the channel here about, why is it that we're still experiencing wars? And the answer to that question seems to be because it's been in the vortex of humanity. So how is it that we move past the division in our own minds and create our own reality in the way that we want to and choose to experience it? So that seems to be something that is working through the collective energies here. And Libra, you seem to have a pretty good grasp on what it is that you're trying to work towards with regards to fulfillment here. So the last card that I've pulled here for Libra, and this relates to, again, our exterior selves, how we present ourselves to the world. And it says intimacy shadow number 34, beyond fear to connection. So what I'll do for Virgos is I will put some exercises, some writing and guided meditation exercises for you in the chat box below. If you would like to like the video, share, and subscribe, you can follow us through this eclipse journey ending in 2027. Thanks, Libra, for being here. See you next time.
Scorpio, this solar eclipse hits your 11th house of community, friends, and future visions. September's lunar eclipse showed what groups no longer align. Now the solar eclipse asks, who is your true tribe? Over the next 6 months, new allies, collaborators, and movements appear. By 2027, you'll be leading the communities that matter most.
Scorpios, welcome in for your eclipse reading. All right, let's dig in. So the eclipse energies are going to last for 6 months, if not more. We are in a eclipse season that is going over your, what would that be, 10th house. So let's take a look at the shadow aspect that we have going on here. So we've got the card Shadow Song, and the card says, hear your soul sing. Hear your soul sing. The current general energies are the Nine of Cups, absolute wish fulfillment, everything your heart desires. The Two of Cups is a loving partnership that you might be grounding in, and the Ten of Cups, you have get out of here, Scorpios. I've got a Scorpio moon, so this is quite an interesting read. Look, the current general energy for Scorpio is all about cups, right? Absolute wish fulfillment, loving partnership, 10 of cups, everything that makes your heart feel fulfilled. The first card that we have here is, when I introduce joy to a situation, I change the vibrational frequency of what's happening around me. So Scorpios, you're really being asked to take a look at how you and your own energies guide the situations around you. What are your thoughts on this situation? We've got the Eight of Swords, which is about self-imposed imprisonment, and the King of Swords in reverse. The King of Swords is the master of his domain here. You see the King of Swords. I can't get the right finger to move. Here we go. The King of Swords here. He's raising these swans. So the king is in the king of Swords in the upright is in control of his emotional domain. So the King of Swords reversed is telling me that us Scorpios know what it is that we are doing in our own head that prevents us from having what it is that we are looking for here with the Nine of Cups, 10 of Cups, 2 of Cups. So this card, none of these cards were in reverse, and I generally don't read oracle cards in reverse, but it's interesting how it was in reverse when I pulled it. Now this card says, in stillness I receive. So the emotional aspects that we have here are the Devil and the Nine of Pentacles. Look, this can mean manipulating money. It can be manipulating independence. It can be about controlling independence. It can be about behavioral patterns, thought patterns that are creating this level of independence. But with the Devil here, there's something that is not quite right with the situation. And I want to take a look here at, like, this is a very beautiful, amazing reading, like a very transformative reading here for Scorpio, but there's definitely some challenges here with regards to this Devil that's come up with the Nine of Pentacles, because the Nine of Pentacles is just before the 10 of Pentacles, which is everything that you're looking to attract into your physical world. But what this is saying is that there's some malfunction, some tweaking that needs to be done in the shadow here, Scorpio, about how you hold this level of independence for what it is that you want to bring in. We've got the Eight of Cups in reverse and the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. So we've got the Nine of Pentacles out here twice, and in the upright, she is moderated by the Devil. And in the reverse here, they are moderated, or the energy is being read with the Eight of Cups in reverse. So there is something here that we emotionally need to let go of, Scorpio, in order to have this Pentacles energy manifest in a positive way. And we've got the Ten of Swords here, which is a final ending, and it came up in reverse. Let's pull a couple of our traditional Rider-Waite cards to see. So we've got the Ten of Wands in reverse. We are getting a whole bunch of swords cards here. I shouldn't say wands. We've got the Ten of Wands in reverse, which is saying that there's something here that hasn't been let go of. There's some level of manipulation and control, some devilish tendencies, some shadow tendencies that need to be worked through here. And Scorpio with the shadow song, and it's something that we're not seeing, and it definitely has to do with coming into stillness over here. So I'm going to move this over here, and we will. Okay, so we're in some level of a trapped situation, and it has to do with the King of Wands is very sharp and logical. So we're missing it's the logic that's been misplaced that is causing this difficult trapped situation here. And I'm going to take that one because it wanted to come out. And what else can we say about the Ten of Swords in... So when is the Ten of Swords a good situation? The Ten of Swords is a good situation when there's nothing else that we can do in a situation. There's nothing else. There's no other way to slice and dice something. There's no other ways to work a situation, to guide a situation. The situation is dead, done, and over with. And then if we don't reverse or push against this situation, if we allow it and flow with it, then we're going to be in a much better situation. So we've got the wisdom here with the High Priestess card to work through this situation. We understand what it is. We're able to pinpoint, and we've got the Ten of Wands, the Ten of Swords here again in upright, clarifying with the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles is in reverse. The Eight of Pentacles is about completing something over and over. So trying something, pounding out this coin, making this coin, and then making another coin. It's also about making identical coins. So with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, it says that this ending has been practiced. This ending has happened before. This ending is cyclical in nature, and it has to be seen for what it is. All right. The cards that we have pulled for how we're going to focus on and what we're going to work through in the next 6 months, Scorpio, we've got, but whose truth is the true truth? Okay, and this is really quite interesting because, like I said, we've got all of this emotional, everything that we want here, and then we've got all of these negative thoughts and aspects about the situation. We're definitely not sitting in a place of stillness where we can receive something. And with enough attention to anything, the essence of what you have been giving thought to will eventually become a physical manifestation. And then as others give attention to it, they help expand it. In time, this manifestation, whether wanted or not, is called truth. Deliberate creation is about deliberately choosing those experiences you make your truths. So, Scorpio, what we need to look at is our shadow about how we are giving truth to something that possesses this devil energy, the shadow aspects of our truth and of others' truths as well. So being able to stay in a level of stillness where we're able to see the situation with the high priestess here exactly for what it is, and then why does my saying no to it mean saying yes to it? When you give attention to something you desire, you say yes to it. You are including it in your vibration. But when you look at something you don't want and you say no to it, you're including it in your vibration as well. You cannot exclude anything you're giving your attention to. So, Scorpio, you're being asked to dig in deeper, to work with the shadow song here, and to find out exactly what it is that how your shadow is manifesting with these devilish tendencies. You need to look at the shadow aspect of your being. So because the eclipse is in, it's in your, either in your 9th, 10th, or 11th house, depending on where you were born, with regards to Scorpio, whereabouts your Scorpio placement is. That was a lot of work there. So I'm pulling the shadow cards here. You've got the shadow song. And as I'm pulling your second shadow card here for moving into stillness, I said there's a lot of work to do here. And I don't think that that was a mistake. I think that is the divine speaking through me. Okay. So the second card that we have here is 2020 vision, new earth beginnings. What do they say about 2020 vision? Like, hindsight is 2020. If I knew then I wouldn't necessarily have done what I did. So our Scorpios are being asked to remain in stillness through this transformation. Sometimes we have to accept the outcomes of what it is that, so like with the 10 of Swords, sometimes we just have to accept things as they are. The 10 of Swords in reverse is not accepting things as they are. And with this 10 of Swords, 8 of Pentacles in reverse here, it says to me that, there is something that isn't ending in the way that we think about things. So the good thing here for Scorpio is that we have the ability to bring joy into this situation. And with the 2020 vision, we have the ability to gain the learnings, to take what it is that we've learned in this situation and apply that into the future. We've got an opportunity over the next 6 months to rest and to receive and introduce that energy of joy, that experience of joy back into the situation. And remember what it is that we're working for here, Scorpios, because this is like what we're working for is our absolute fulfillment. It's everything that we could hope, want, and desire. And I just read for Libra, which is your 12th house. And indeed, the shadow card that they pulled was fulfillment. So, what it is that you're working through and you're transforming through, with absolute fulfillment being in your 12th house, it's saying to me, and then all of this turning up here in your first house, Scorpio, is that emotionally you need to be able to work through what it is that you want. You will see something in hindsight, and in hindsight, as these repetitive patterns break, and the 8 of Cups, we've got the 8 of Cups here, we've got the 8 of Swords here. As these grips loosen, and they are mainly intellectual, and it does have to do with poor logical reasoning on a situation. All right, Scorpio, I have put some exercises for you in the chat box below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the rest of this eclipse journey. See you soon.
Sagittarius, this eclipse hits your 10th house of career and is calling it front and center. September's lunar eclipse revealed cracks in your work identity. This solar eclipse is a reset. Choose a path aligned with soul, not status. Over the next 6 months, career changes are possible, and by 2027, you'll be standing in a legacy that feels true for you.
Hello and welcome, Sagittarius. This is your eclipse reading, Sagittarius. So thank you for tuning in. The eclipse energies, well, we are working through a big eclipse season that ends in 2027. And so these eclipses are happening in your 9th house, Sag. Could be 8th, could be 10th, depending on where you were born in Sagittarius. But for most people, it will be occurring in your 9th house. And the main energy that we are working through, Sagittarius, is anger. It says restoring boundaries and reclaiming balance in our lives. So the 9th house has everything to do with our life philosophies. It has to do with our spiritual development and our spiritual progress in this journey, in our flesh bodies. So let's take a look at the general energies here for Scorpio. We have death and rebirth. So Sagittarius, you're going through a transformation here, and we've got the King of Wands upright and the Four of Swords. So for our Sagittarius, this is a dark night of the soul where we are learning to address and transform. With the Death card here, we're addressing and transforming some issues surrounding our masculine energy. So what it is that we are active with, and how we push forth on what it is that we want to experience in this lifetime, how we take action on our desires. So we're going through a dark night of a soul and a bit of a rebirth in this position here. Our first card says, I can decide today to recalibrate my energy and commit to love and joy. So this is the challenge here for Sagittarius. It's about learning what it is that triggers us, and with this death and rebirth here, and how we can work with those triggers over the eclipse season, how we work with our anger and allow it to transform us into what it is that how we want to turn up. The next energies that we have here is the Queen of Cups and Strength. So, Queen of Cups and Strength. What's interesting here to me is that, like, with this Queen of Cups, I actually saw her as being made out of ice, which reminds me quite a bit more of the Queen of Swords card. And so it's telling me that Sagittarius are learning how to deal with when they turn cold, when they turn bitter. What makes the Sagittarius person bitter, and how do they see that as a trigger to move their energy more towards love and joy? We've got, I have the ability to direct my own thoughts. And it says you have the option of observing things as they are, or of imagining them as you want them to be. And whichever option you choose, your thoughts produce a vibration within you that equals your point of attraction, and then circumstances and events line up to match the vibrations that you have offered. So we are learning here how to, instead of ice ourselves up, to open ourselves up with the Queen of Cups and to feel what it is that we need to feel, and to address that with this Strength card here, like we're facing a lion. Our emotional situation is, well, we've got the Three of Swords here, and we've got the Five of Swords in reverse. So Sagittarius are working through some pretty difficult emotional pain here with the Three of Swords. And this Five of Swords card, I always talk about it on this deck. And in fact, the last time I went to look for it to share it with you guys, I wasn't able to find it. So let me move in a little bit closer here. There we go. So you can see there is the man here with the sword, and he is intimidating and potentially going to kill these children that are sitting here in fear. You know, there's a level of emotional betrayal here that has occurred. And so this is where we're going to start with our first clarifier, because I'm not sure right now whether our Sagittariuses have been emotionally betraying themselves or they've been emotionally betrayed. Okay, so this card came out in the last reading, and I don't know whether it just flipped or whether it was put in the deck, but it's obviously sticking out at me, and it is the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. And that is doing things over and over and not getting a different result, right? The Eight of Pentacles is about making that pentacle again and again and again and again until you've got making the pentacles done correctly. And it's about doing them in the exact same way. And so there's a lack of structure and stability here with this Eight of Pentacles. I was clarifying the betrayal. And so what this tells me is that there is some lack of understanding about how that betrayal went on, how it manifested, and our Sagittariuses need to dig in a little bit deeper. I mean, this is about love, but it's also about, with the Two of Cups there, but it's also about, the Two of Cups is also about our relationship with ourselves and how we light ourselves up here. No doubt for a lot of Sagittarius, this is about a romantic situation we've got the Sun in reverse and then the Empress. Now, the Sun is our solar energy. It is our masculine energy. So what we see here is that with Sagittarius, it is the active, the male energy here that is in reverse, that this period of review of our triggers, what we act on and what we don't act on. But it also says to me that the outcome, the Empress manifests everything that she wants and desires in her feminine essence. And with the Sun in reverse and the Empress here, it says that all of the dark outcomes, the shadow outcomes that have been manifest for you, are due to this lack of having this positive, upright, masculine energy here. The next card that we have is, I release time and let the universe show me what to do. I release time. And let the universe show me what to do. And then it says, whatever I can imagine, the universe can deliver. If you have the ability to imagine it or even to think about it, this universe has the ability and the resources to deliver it fully onto you. For it is like a well-stocked kitchen with every ingredient imaginable at your disposal. So our Sagittariuses are taking the time. We're being asked to take the time. We've got the Tower here in reverse, which could mean that, that Sagittarius believes that there is some Tower situation that is about to happen that may or may not happen. It can mean that the Tower situation needs to happen, that something needs to be broken down that hasn't been broken down. Let's get some clarifiers here with regards to, all right, we've got a lot. So we've got the 8 of Wands in reverse. So we've got very slow moving energy. We have got the 6 of Pentacles in reverse, the Page of Pentacles, and the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. So we're looking at some level of independence, and we're looking at some level of skill that probably hasn't been developed. We're looking at a situation where there's the opportunity to receive that skill, to give and take in this situation, and to understand where we're at. But it's a slow going process here, Sagittarius. Let's grab one more shadow card for you, and I will post below all of the exercises from the guidebook that I suggest for the Sagittarius collective to work on with the energies over the next 6 months. Okay, so we have grief, and it says opening a natural path to healing loss. So there is something here that, this is we've got anger and grief as our main energy cards here. So it is a period for Sagittarius to look at, how they are going to be reborn and how they are going to self-identify. We're looking at fixing the active aspect, the action-oriented aspect of the masculine-dominated Sagittarius energy here. and we're using our ability to direct our thoughts and to imagine the outcome that we want to manifest at the end of this 6-month period as our guidepost. We're also working with the energy of releasing here and allowing time to heal and to recalibrate and recommit to love, joy, and fulfillment as it is that you want to experience it. All right, Sagittarius, thank you so much for being here. Please continue with us on the journey by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing, and I will see you in the next reading. Thank you.
Hi Capricorn, this eclipse lands in your 9th house of beliefs, learning, and expansion. September's lunar eclipse showed you where old dogma held you back. Now the solar eclipse says open up, study, travel, dream big. Over the next 6 months, a new vision of the world emerges, and by 2027, your worldview will be completely transformed.
Hello and welcome in Capricorn. Thank you for joining us for this solar eclipse reading. Let's dive into the energy here. So, Capricorn, you are working with this dream card here, and it says dream work, messages from the universe. So, Capricorns are learning how to manifest what it is that they desire and to work with their visions for the future. We've got the Page of Wands here, which is initiating energy. We've got the Six of Pentacles, which is about giving and taking. And we have got the Nine of Swords here, which is some level of anxiety. So we're initiating give and take. We're initiating some level of working together with people here. You see these coins are being exchanged between hands. It's like, I scratch my back, you can scratch. I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. But there's some level of anxiety about what it is that we are manifesting in this current situation. We've got feeling good will bring me far more than whatever I thought I needed. So we're being asked to work with those feel-good energies to overcome the mental anguish here with the Nine of Swords. What are Capricorn's current thoughts about the situation? Interesting, we've got the Ten of Wands here. This popped out in reverse. This came out in reverse, I believe, with Scorpio's reading as well. So let's take a look at these thoughts. We've got the Two of Swords in reverse and the Five of Swords in reverse. So we're dealing a lot with these mental energies right now. And the Two of Swords is about making a decision. And so there's some level of indecisiveness here that is really allowing. So the Five of Swords card is, these are kids playing here, playing in jest. It almost looks like they're playing Ring Around the Rosie, but they've got knives. And so your lack of decision about some way of transforming some energy here. So you don't know how to transform the energy, or you're not making the decision about how to transform the energy. Therefore, we are in a feeling where we're anxious, and we're anxious because we are blocking this level of transformation. We've got, we are all co-creators within a diverse universe. We are co-creators within a diverse universe. It says every physical being on your planet is your partner in co-creation. And if you would accept that and appreciate the diversity of beliefs and desires, all of you would have more expansive, satisfying, and fulfilling experiences. So, how are we feeling here? We've got the Hanged Man and we've got the Three of Swords. So, our Capricorns are feeling very trapped here with this energy. The Hanged Man is somebody who potentially suspends themselves in order to find out the truth of a situation. So we're feeling emotionally stuck and stagnant right now. And that emotional stuck and stagnancy is preventing us from becoming this super attractor here. And it says, my super attractor power comes from how I feel, my faith in love, and the joy I put out. So the decision that our Capricorns need to make is, that's too many cards. Can we get more information on the decision that our Capricorns need to make? Okay. So the first card that came out was the Three of Pentacles. So the Three of Pentacles is asking us to work in collaboration with other people. It's also asking us to work to a set plan and to color between the lines, so to speak, and to turn up and do sort of what is expected of us. We've got the Hermit in reverse. So that's kind of interesting because we're in a period of suspension, emotionally suspended with the Hanged Man here, yet we have the Hermit in reverse. So there's something about feeling emotionally trapped and understanding that we're living in our negative. We're living with this devil, the devil and the High Priestess. So the High Priestess sees behind the veil, and the devil is where our attachments, where we self-manipulate and we manipulate others, we manipulate situations, we try to control situations. So the High Priestess here understands this intellectually. However, the Hermit, they haven't taken the opportunity here to turn into self. It says, I learned to pay attention to my feelings, and this is exactly what the Capricorns are being asked to do here. It says, your emotions are absolute indicators of your current points of attraction. They help you to know in any moment whether or not you are currently allowing the fulfillment of your desire. It's our encouragement that you pay attention to how you feel and allow your emotions to be valuable indicators as they are. So the emotions are telling you right now to take a step back here, because you know that when you feel good, that you are able with this angel here to create, you're essentially able to fly between worlds. You're able to astral project and allow this dream work to fulfill your desires. But the challenge right now is how you're currently feeling and being able to attract those things in that you're looking to attract, and what it is that you're trying to feel. There is some level I get with the Three of Pentacles here and the Six of Pentacles that it has to do with working with other people, and learning how to work with other people. Let's grab one more shadow card for our Capricorns to see how you can work with the current solar eclipse energies. Now, these are things that you can work on and practice on for the next 6 months. We have got Judgment here. It says, when all sides are equal, the push of liberated wisdom appears. When all sides are equal. So we're learning here about how to balance things with other people with this give and take, and to create some level of equality in those situations. All right, good luck, Capricorn. I have posted some meditation exercises and some reflection exercises below in the chat box below. Please feel free to comment, like, share, and subscribe, and I will take you on this eclipse journey through to 2027. See you soon.
Aquarius. This eclipse hits your 8th house of intimacy, shared resources, and transformation that is now being activated. September's lunar eclipse showed you cracks in trust. Now this solar eclipse brings renewal through vulnerability. Over the next 6 months, deeper bonds form and financial dynamics shift. By 2027, you'll be transformed from the inside out.
Hello, and welcome in our, let's see if we can get a better light on this situation here. All right, welcome in Aquarius. Aquarius, welcome to your eclipse reading. So the overall energy that we have for Aquarius is heart love, the unconditional center. See if I can, there we go, heart love. I will be taking a photo of all of these cards if I'm unable to get a good light on them for you here. All right, heart love is what we're talking about, Aquarius, for this set of eclipses. The eclipse energy, the eclipse cycle lasts until 2027, and the eclipse energy will last for the next 6 months. Let's take a look. We have the star. What a fabulous way to start the reading with the star card. We have got the Emperor and the King of Cups. Ah, this is such a great energy. Okay, so our Aquariuses here are looking to cash in on a hope and a dream. It's something that you seems a little bit far away, but what I'm being shown is that you're really being able to stabilize in the energy that you want here in order to manifest what it is that you are looking for. The Emperor brings that stability in, and with the King of Cups, it shows me that, yeah, it's grounded. It's a grounded energy of capturing what it is that you desire and having this unconditional love and heart space that is open. It says the universe has big plans for me and it's time to claim them. So that's a lovely card. Let's take a look at your emotions surrounding the energy in this situation here. We have the Eight of Wands and the Ten of Swords. Wow. All right. So the Eight of Wands and the Ten of Swords. The Eight of Wands is about something moving very quickly. It's also about communication. And so it tells me that Ten of Swords is an absolute ending, and it's being in the sign of our thoughts, which are leading to our emotions, because we're drawing on the emotions here. it tells me that we're putting an end to cycles, potentially like fast moving cycles, quick moving cycles that have been, it's something that's been happening continuously. And you'll also notice like the Eight of Wands card typically doesn't have somebody in it, it's just wands. Whereas here, this lady is receiving or giving some level of communication. It looks like she's receiving it. So there is some sort of quick emotional ending here that is giving rise to what it is that we're desiring to bring in. And it says, the next card we have is, I will never cease being or desiring. You will never cease to be. New desires will constantly be born within you. Source will never stop answering your desires, and your expansion is therefore eternal. And so you may begin to relax if in this moment there is something you desire that has not yet come to fruition. So it looks like, this looks to be a very good reading for me, Aquarius. It looks like you're putting down, letting go of these emotional cycles that have been holding you back. We've got, when I live and act from a place of spiritual alignment, I can trust that everything is working out for me, even if I don't know when or how it will happen. So we've got some thoughts here. We've got the High Priestess in reverse and the Three of Swords. So the Three of Swords is a card of heartbreak, and the High Priestess is the person who sees behind the veil. And with this being in our thought pattern, what it says to me is that maybe there was something that you were never able to lift the veil on with the High Priestess in reverse. And it caused a lot of heartbreak for you emotionally. Are these from the same day? I'm like, are these even from the same deck? And they are. The one situation that's coming to my mind here is like, potentially there was a situation in the past where you don't know whether or not a partner was faithful to you, and that might not be the situation. It could be a situation at work. It could be where you don't know whether you got credit where credit was due. It has something to do with emotions and stability here. And in the past, we were communicating. What we were communicating was bringing an end to this situation. Our emotions were stuck on the end and the communication that we had about this situation. And what this says to me is that you've really been able to go on and, with the Three of Swords here, release any attachment to what it was that you were clinging on to. I'd like to get a couple of clarifiers now. Let's see if we can dig in a little bit and find out what this Eight of Wands, Ten of Swords situation was. Too many. All right. So with the Eight of Wands and the Ten of Swords, we've got the Devil in reverse. So obviously this is a card of lying, cheating, stealing, manipulation. It's the devil. So it's all of the negative aspects and the shadow tendencies that bubble up to the surface. And this had to do with making a choice about not investigating a betrayal. So Yeah, I mean, what I'm seeing is what I'm seeing here. It looks like you chose to let go of something, and in doing so, you're bringing in a lot of stability here for yourself, and that emotional stability is going to allow you to reach for this dream, the dream that you have that hasn't yet manifested. The next card that we have is I am a physical extension of source energy. And it says everything in your physical environment was created from non-physical perspective by that which you call source. And just as source created your world and you through the power of focused thought, you from your leading edge place in this space-time reality are continuing to create your world. I'm going to get any clarifiers that are needed for our Aquarius friends here to see how you're handling this situation and how to carry this through the eclipse, because it looks to me like things are quite positive here for you. All right, we've got a few cards, a bit more than I wanted, but let's take a look at what we've got. So here we've got not acting on truth. The Three of Wands card is a card of transforming into truth. And with the Magician in reverse, okay, so I am getting a bit of a picture here of what this situation may have been for some of our Aquariuses. It looks like there was some level of betrayal and that you didn't bother to investigate into the lying. You made a choice not to investigate that. But then what's happened is there's been no level of acting on the truth of what actually happened in that situation. And because you're not acting on the truth, there is a confusion here with this Seven of Cups. A confusion about what you have. The Page of Pentacles card is, look at this. This is what is here. So there's some level of confusion about what it is that you have. And not being able, with the Tower in reverse here, not being able to break down the structure, the part of the structure that exists that is false. So there is some level here of, there is some fallacy that needs to be busted up, and that's going to allow you to move and operate from a place of truth. But in the meantime, like I said, it doesn't look like you're operating and moving in this place of truth right now. But you've got a dream and you've got the emotional stability and grounding here, the spiritual alignment, and the unconditional love. So the last card that we've drawn is the card of integrity. And it says loyalty to the innermost truth. So Aquarius, look, it looks like you are going to be pulling in this dream, but you have to work over the next 6 months to align yourself and allow yourself to accept the truth of the situation that you may not have dug into here, because there is some level of, your thoughts and your emotions sort of pulling back and forth, like you wanting to move on, but you can't manifest with the Magician. He would be in the upright if you had the opportunity to go through this Tower situation to clear out what is not true and to understand where you are, reduce this confusion in what it is that you have. And if you do that and you work with unconditional love and integrity, you're going to be able to draw in these dreams that you're chasing after. All right, thanks, Aquarius. I will put some meditation, journaling, and contemplative exercises for you in the description box below. Please feel free to comment, like, share, and subscribe. And I will continue to take you through this eclipse journey through to 2027. All right.
Pisces, this eclipse falls in your 7th house of partnerships. The lunar eclipse earlier this month showed you where relationship imbalances lived. Now, the solar eclipse is a reset. New agreements, new balance, new love. Over the next 6 months, expect clarity in your one-to-one bonds, and by 2027, your partnerships will reflect your truest self.
Hello, and welcome in our Pisces friends. This is your solar eclipse reading. My name is Goddess Illuminated. Let's jump into the energies here. So the solar eclipse is going to last for approximately, the energies will persist for approximately 6 months, and we are in a Virgo eclipse cycle that will culminate in 2027. For Pisces, we are being asked to reimagine with the reimagine card here. So let me just see if I can get a good look at the cards for you. So we've got a person here sitting in a meditation with their hands clasped above their head, and it looks like they're grounding the energy of the cosmos into their DNA here. And the card says, define who you are, create who you want to be. Now, the general energies that surround this eclipse, we have got the 10 of Wands card. The 10 of Wands is a card of sort of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, but knowing that the journey is still a long way to go. And so preparing ourselves for the rest of our journey, knowing that we still have a fair ways to go. We've got the Queen of Wands here and the Strength card, which is interesting. We've got these Leo energies turning up here. The Queen of Wands is all about, Queen of Wands is our witch energy, right? Our, not necessarily white witch, it depends on the specific Queen of Wands. But we've got that witchy energy of transformation and knowing how to create and manifest the things that we want in our life by having strength and being able to hone in on our lower chakras. So knowing how to control our fears, our passions, and our motivations. For Pisces, this relates first and foremost to, it says, when I make joy a priority, brilliant ideas will come naturally, support will surround me, and movements will form. So Pisces are really looking to manifest some level of dream here, and to be the creative energy source with the Queen of Wands here that grounds that dream in. However, we've got some thoughts around this situation. And our thoughts are the Page of Swords in reverse and the Knight of Swords in reverse. So apt that we have swords coming out here for the thoughts involved. With the Page of Swords in reverse, it says to me that our Pisces don't know right now how. We don't think that we know how to do this reimagining. How do we define who we are, and then how do we create and manifest who we are in the external world? And so with the Knight of Swords in reverse, the Knight of Swords would be, movement forward on that thought or idea. So with the Knight in reverse, it says that we aren't taking action right now because we aren't sure about what it is that, when I make joy a priority, brilliant ideas will naturally come and support will surround me and movements will form. But we don't know how to do that. And so our thoughts are putting us into a period of stagnation. And maybe that's why we feel here with the Ten of Wands card that our destiny is so far off in the future. We've got a consistent formula gives me consistent results. It says, like, learning to understand the basics of mathematics and having the successful experience of understanding the results and their applications. Once you have a formula for understanding your world that is always consistent, it will yield you consistent results. Let's take a look and dive a little bit deeper into these page energies here and take a look at how this is manifesting for the collective. Where in our past, what is the origin of these thoughts? What is the origin of the challenge here? We have got the Page of Cups, the Knight of Cups. We've got proposing, judgment, which is reconciliation, and justice, or questioning it. So it looks to me like, you do have a bit of an idea of how to get out of this situation where you're not making forward progress on your goals. So it does tell me that there is potentially a consistent formula, or at least a formula that you can work on. We've got, it's interesting because these two, like, one of the things that I absolutely love about this deck is that the cards join up to actually provide a picture. And what we see here is that there's two people tackling this swan, trying to kill the swan or get rid of it. And one is tackling the head here, but he's much too big to handle the mouth on his own. And the other one here is swinging at a wing. So, there's some level of either the parts of your brain, two different ways to juggle and attack this situation. But I do feel like somebody else or something else is involved, because we have here, look, the eclipse is in your opposite sign, Pisces. And so this might be relating to a specific romantic partnership or a partnership in general. And it looks like you're questioning the opportunity or whether or not you really have to reconcile in this situation in order to maybe have the people, it says the support will surround me and movements will form. So there's something here about looking at reconciliation or thinking that reconciliation is going to help support you emotionally in this situation. The next card that we have is true manifesting is about receiving what is of the highest good for all. True receiving is about manifesting. True manifesting is about receiving what is in the highest good for all. And our emotions surrounding this situation, we have got the Nine of Swords in reverse and the Magician. So emotionally, we're getting out of a place of feeling stuck or thinking that we're stuck, and we're looking at how we are able to take action on what it is that we want to manifest. Let's grab a couple of clarifiers here for Pisces. All right. So I know that these, let's just take a look at what we've got here. All right. So we've got the Chariot in reverse and the Tower. So this is about us not worrying about how we're perceived. The Chariot is about setting ourselves apart and essentially setting ourselves apart so that we can be seen for who we really are. But it seems to me that in this situation that, I think that that is part of what is manifesting confusion here, because potentially the situation here is where you want to be received and have recognition in a situation, maybe seen as though you are the magician here, that is the one that is truly manifesting things. But we can't do it without this community, or the community is part of what it is that you're trying to manifest in. And the truth of the matter is that the way that you're propositioning yourself in this situation is what is causing the confusion. Because the next card that we have is my emotions are vibrational interpretations. And the anxiety that you had created in this co-working situation was the blockage that was preventing things from moving forward. And so looking at how we feel in certain situations is going to allow us to move through them. It says your eyes, your ears, your nose, tongue, and fingertips are translating vibrations, but your most sophisticated of vibrational interpretations are, by far, in fact, your emotions. By paying attention to the signals of your emotions, you can understand with absolute precision everything you are now living or have ever lived. So, Pisces, we're going to pull another shadow card, and please do look at the description box down below, or sorry, the chat box down below, because I am posting exercises and journaling prompts for each person in the collective. Now I'm gonna shuffle these. Not feeling like I'm getting the card that I need here for our Pisces collective. We are asking them to reimagine and define who they are, to create who they want to be. And all right, we're gonna go with this one. So the card that we've chosen is flexibility, and it's the ability to adjust and to adapt. So you're being asked to be very flexible in this situation about this journey here of the Ten of Wands is only going to be as long as it takes for you to gain the flexibility to learn that we have to work with others, and in working with others that we should be reaching for the highest good for all. And if we do that, we're going to move back into this Queen of Wands energy here, which is going to allow us to move forward and manifest everything that we want by giving us the formula that we need and allowing ourselves to feel guided by how it is that we're projecting ourselves out for the rest of the world to see. All right, thanks so much for being here, Pisces. Please feel free to comment, like, share, and subscribe. and I will take you through this eclipse journey into 2027. We'll see you soon.